My beloved, my child of heaven, my divine one, whose soul glows brighter than the sun itself. Do you feel your heartbeat right now? It's faster, isn't it? Because your spirit already knows, something urgent has reached you from the courts of heaven. On August 11th, Archangel Michael himself bends low to whisper into your ear. It's an emergency. A case has been filed in the realms of man and spirit, and Jesus is commanding you to know this secret before tomorrow. My beloved, I need you to listen, not with your ears, but with your soul. Because what is about to be revealed is not a small thing. It's a chain-breaking thing. It's a history-changing thing. And heaven says, you have been given this one chance before the sun rises again. The case that has been filed is not only of earth, it echoes in the courts of heaven. And your name, your destiny, your blessings, are all written in it. If you miss this, you miss more than just news. You miss the miracle moment God has been aligning for years. Before I go further, heaven asked me to tell you something very important. The words you are reading are not reaching you by mistake. This message is a divine delivery, wrapped in light, signed by angels, and placed directly in your hands. And my child, before I continue, I need you to do something simple but powerful. Stay until the very end of this message. Don't just glance. Don't just skip. Because one word here, one sentence here, could be the exact thing that shifts everything in your favor. Listen, if you feel even the smallest pull in your spirit right now, it is not random. It is God calling your soul closer, because He's about to open a sealed file that was never meant for mortal eyes until today. And before I reveal the secret, let me place this into your heart. Subscribe to these messages of light and truth, so no darkness ever gets the chance to keep you in silence again. Every time you connect here, you are putting a shield around your blessings. And that shield will stand when the storms come. Now, beloved, lean in. There is a sound in heaven right now, like a gavel striking in the courtrooms of God. The judge above all judges is making his move. And your name was just spoken in his decision. The enemy thought this case would end with your downfall. But Archangel Michael just tore open the documents in the spirit. And inside, written in gold letters, was the truth the enemy never wanted you to see. The truth is this: you were never meant to lose this battle. The attack against you was built on lies. But lies cannot stand in the light of heaven's truth. And now, the time has come for everything hidden to be laid bare before you. My beloved, as I speak these words, I see angels moving like flashes of light, carrying scrolls. Each scroll contains pieces of your destiny that someone tried to steal. But now, they are being returned. Tomorrow is too late. Tonight is the hour of revelation. And Jesus is saying to you now, do not fear what is written against you, because I have already written in your favor. My beloved, I can feel the weight on your shoulders right now. It's not just the stress of this day, or the thoughts swirling in your head. It's something deeper, something spiritual. And heaven is telling me that for too long, you've been walking under the shadow of a case you didn't even know existed. It's not just a case in earthly courts, it's an accusation whispered in the spirit, one that has tried to block your blessings, delay your progress, and make you question your worth. But hear me now, on August 11th, the record has been pulled before the high court of heaven. Archangel Michael himself has taken it into his hands. And Jesus, the ultimate advocate, is standing on your behalf, commanding that you know this truth before tomorrow. The enemy has been working overtime to keep you blind to it. But beloved, the seal has been broken. The truth is here. And nothing will stop you from hearing it. You see, my child, this is not about punishment. This is about deliverance. It's about heaven removing the last chains that have kept you from walking into your full calling. The accusations against you were planted by someone who pretended to smile in your face while setting snares behind your back. They wanted to see you fall. They wanted to strip away your dignity, your confidence, and your faith. But they forgot one thing: you are marked by God. And when God marks someone, no earthly power can erase that mark. Even now, Michael is watching over you. He stands like a pillar of fire, keeping the forces of darkness from reaching your heart. And as you're reading this, something in your spirit is waking up. You feel that nudge. That tightening in your chest. That whisper saying, "This is for you." It's not paranoia, it's recognition. Your soul knows this is the moment heaven has been preparing you for. And that's why you cannot afford to skip a single word. Because every line here is a stepping stone across the river the enemy built to keep you from your promised land. Beloved, the case that has been filed has your name on it, but not the way they think. It was supposed to be your downfall, but God is flipping it. Every accusation will turn into proof of your faithfulness. Every false witness will be exposed. Every hidden document will come to light. And before the clock strikes midnight tomorrow, there will be a shift so strong that the very atmosphere around you will feel different. But here's the key: you have to stand still and receive this word without fear. Because fear is the only thing the enemy can still use to slow you down. When you let fear control you, you step back from the edge of your miracle. But when you let faith lead, you step into the place God has been holding open for you all along. I can already hear the sound of the verdict being prepared in heaven. Michael is not standing still. He's moving, sword drawn, ready to strike down anything that tries to block this final breakthrough. Jesus has already stamped the decree: not guilty. Fully favored. Fully blessed. And the moment that verdict is read in heaven, you will feel it in your reality. Something will release. The heaviness will lift. Opportunities you thought were gone forever will resurface. Doors that were slammed shut will open without resistance. Do you understand, my child? This isn't a random message. This isn't a nice idea to make you feel better for a moment. This is a prophetic appointment. Heaven scheduled this conversation. And if you had missed it, you would have missed the one thing that could change everything. But you didn't miss it. You're here. You're reading. Your spirit is aligned. And that means the enemy has already lost the advantage. Let me tell you something that will shake you. I saw in the spirit that the person connected to this false case is already restless. They feel exposed. They don't know why, but they can sense their plans slipping away. What they don't know is that the angels have already been dispatched to dismantle their scheme. And in just hours, the chain reaction will begin. Once it starts, nothing will stop it. This is why Archangel Michael says, don't take this lightly. Stay until the end. Every word is part of your weapon. You don't fight this with fists or arguments, you fight it with knowledge, with faith, and with obedience to God's timing. Beloved, there are moments in life when God lets you overhear the conversation of heaven. Not with your ears, but with your spirit. And right now, whether you realize it or not, you are hearing something that was not meant for the crowd. This is a sealed discussion between the throne and your destiny. Archangel Michael told me to tell you, your name has been spoken with great seriousness in the highest court of heaven. And when heaven speaks your name, the earth responds. Mountains move. Enemies tremble. Gates open without keys. This case that was filed, it is not only about the accusations against you. It is about every moment you stood in faith when you could have given up. It is about every prayer you whispered when you were too tired to stand. It is about the quiet obedience you gave when no one else was watching. The enemy tried to twist those moments into something ugly. But heaven saw the truth. And now the truth will stand, tall and unshakable. I need you to understand this. There is a spiritual law that says what is bound in heaven is bound on earth, and what is loosed in heaven is loosed on earth. This is why today is critical. Because as the verdict is prepared above, the outcome of this case in the earthly realm will follow it. And heaven's decision is about to be in your favor. Do you know what Michael showed me? I saw him walk into the courtroom of heaven with a golden scroll in his hands. It was rolled tight, sealed with 7 seals, and every seal bore the mark of God's authority. When the scroll was opened, I saw your story, pages and pages of it, written in light. Every tear you cried was a drop of gold on the page. Every step of faith you took was inked in royal blue. Every injustice you faced was noted, not to condemn you, but to prove how strong your faith remained in the fire. And then I heard the voice of Jesus. It wasn't loud, it didn't need to be. When he speaks, all of heaven listens. He said, I command that this child be informed. They will not walk in ignorance another day. The darkness has had enough time. Reveal the truth before tomorrow. Beloved, When Jesus commands something, it happens. Not later. Not eventually. Immediately. And that's why you're here. That's why these words are in front of you right now. But let me warn you, once the truth is revealed, you cannot go back to pretending you didn't hear it. You will be accountable for what you do next. You will have to choose, walk boldly into the light, or shrink back and let fear win. And I am telling you with all the urgency of heaven, this is not the hour to shrink back. This is the hour to rise. I also need you to know that someone has been tracking your steps in the physical world. They have been gathering information, twisting it, preparing to use it against you. But here's the irony, they don't realize that by doing so, they have actually created the evidence heaven will use to clear your name. Every weapon they forged is about to be turned back on them. Not because of your power, but because of God's justice. Even now, I can see Michael standing guard over you. His presence is not soft, it's fierce. His sword burns with a fire no human has ever seen. And with every passing minute, the case against you is weakening. The enemy is losing witnesses. Their lies are crumbling. Their confidence is fading. Do not doubt this moment. Do not think, maybe this is just nice-sounding encouragement. No, my child. This is a prophetic release. This is God putting you in the front row to watch your own vindication. And when it happens, it will not be quiet. It will not be hidden. It will be public enough for even your enemies to admit they were wrong. Now I must tell you something difficult. Between now and tomorrow, there will be distractions. The enemy knows what's coming and will try to make you lose focus. You may hear news that rattles you. You may get a message from someone who has no business speaking into your life. You may even feel sudden waves of doubt. Ignore them. They are the final attempts to keep you from crossing the finish line. Because once you know the full truth, the enemy's grip on you will be gone forever. And beloved, that is exactly what heaven intends to happen. This is why I am pleading with you, stay connected. Stay alert. Do not wander away from this word until you have taken it fully into your spirit. Because the final pages of this message carry the very key you will need to walk into the new chapter God has written for you. My beloved, you have no idea how carefully this moment was planned in heaven. There are times when angels move in the background, quietly arranging events so that when you finally see the truth, it lands in your hands at the perfect moment. That's what is happening now. You weren't supposed to hear about this case from the mouths of men, you were supposed to hear it directly from heaven's messengers. And that's why Archangel Michael has stepped forward with such urgency. He doesn't speak like this often, he saves this tone for moments when destinies hang in the balance. On August 11th, a record was opened. Not in a dusty office, but in the very courts of God. And written inside were details of a spiritual attack that has been building against you for longer than you realize. Jesus himself saw the file, and instead of staying silent, he stood up, his voice filling the room, and said, "Tell my child now. They must know before tomorrow. What you're facing is more than just a situation, it's a crossroads where what happens in the unseen will determine what unfolds in the seen. And if you've been wondering why the last few weeks have felt unusually heavy, like you've been carrying something you couldn't name, it's because your spirit already sensed the tension in the air. Every delay, every unexpected obstacle, every strange look from someone you thought was on your side, it's all been connected to this unseen case. The truth is, someone tried to bind your destiny with words, actions, and accusations designed to make you stumble. But they underestimated who stands with you. They forgot that your defender is the one who never loses a case. When Jesus stands as your advocate, the verdict is not only in your favor, it is final. No appeal. No reversal. Permanent freedom. Michael told me to tell you something that might send chills through your spirit. The person or people connected to this attack are already showing signs of panic. They don't even know exactly why they feel it, but something deep inside them is telling them that their plans are unraveling. The peace they thought they had is cracking. The confidence they used to have when speaking against you is faltering. It's because heaven has already begun stripping away their false power. In the spirit, I saw scrolls being unrolled and documents being re-stamped, not with the words of accusation they carried before, but with words like redeemed, protected, chosen, and untouchable. And my beloved, your name was written beside every one of them. This is not a moment for hesitation. It's not a time to doubt whether God is truly speaking to you. If you have ever felt like the timing of something was supernatural, this is that time. You could have missed this. You could have gone another day without hearing it. But you didn't. That's how you know this is more than coincidence, it's divine appointment. And with divine appointments, there is always a window of grace. If you step through it, things change. If you let it pass, you have to wait for God to arrange another. But something in my spirit tells me you're not going to miss this one. You've waited too long, you've suffered enough, and heaven has decided the waiting season ends here. Understand this, when heaven moves in your favor, the shift is not subtle. The atmosphere around you will feel lighter. The conversations you have will start to carry different weight. People who ignored you will suddenly remember your name. Opportunities that were not available will suddenly appear. And this isn't just chance, it's the ripple effect of a heavenly verdict. This is why Michael says to you now, do not take this message lightly. There are truths inside these words that you will need in the hours ahead. The gavel is about to strike. The decision will be sealed. And when it is, the only thing left for you to do is walk into the victory God has already prepared. And beloved, I must tell you the truth about the urgency. Heaven works outside of time, but here on earth, there is a deadline. Jesus said, before tomorrow, for a reason. It's because certain events are already in motion, and your awareness of this truth will position you to receive what's coming. If you ignore it, the blessings could still come, but they may pass you by because you weren't ready to recognize them. The enemy thrives on catching you off guard, but this time, heaven is making sure you are 2 steps ahead. That's why this word is not for next week, not for when you have time, but for now. Every sentence is part of the shield being placed over your life. And once that shield is complete, no arrow of accusation will be able to pierce it again. My beloved, what is happening right now in the Spirit is bigger than you think. This is not just about clearing your name, it's about setting a precedent in the heavens. When God moves in your favor, it becomes a testimony that no power of darkness can erase. There are angels who have been assigned to you for years, quietly keeping watch, stepping in when you didn't even realize danger was close. But this time, their orders are different. This is not a silent rescue. This is a public vindication. Heaven intends for the outcome of this case to be visible enough that even those who never believed in your calling will have no choice but to admit they were wrong. And in that moment, you will understand why the battle was so fierce, because the victory will carry a weight that changes more than just your own life. It will shift the atmosphere for people connected to you, even those who aren't ready to see it yet. Archangel Michael's presence in this moment is no small detail. He is the commander of heaven's armies, and when he steps forward, it means the battle has reached its most critical point. I saw in the Spirit as he placed his hand on the very table where the accusations were laid out. One touch from him, and the ink of those false claims began to fade. What was written to harm you lost its power instantly. And then, in the place where those lies had been, words of truth began to appear. They weren't long or complicated. They were powerful and final. This one belongs to the Lord. This one is covered by the blood. This one's destiny is sealed in heaven. My child, those words cannot be overturned. They are not suggestions. They are decrees. And when heaven decrees a thing, even the enemy has to step back in silence. But I must be honest with you, the hours between now and the morning will be the most crucial. The enemy will try to whisper doubt into your ear, to make you question whether this is real, to convince you that perhaps nothing is happening at all. He will try to pull your attention to petty distractions, unnecessary fears, and old wounds. You cannot allow that. The way you respond in this window will determine how quickly the fullness of this verdict manifests in your reality. This is why Jesus said to make sure you hear this before tomorrow, because forewarned is forearmed. You are being given the advantage. You are being told the strategy of heaven so you can walk in step with it. I know there have been times when you felt forgotten, when it seemed like God was silent while your enemies were loud. You wondered why heaven didn't step in sooner, why the lies were allowed to spread unchecked. But what you didn't see was that God was letting the enemy expose themselves fully. He was allowing them to dig the pit deeper, to build their case higher, so that when the fall comes, it will be complete. There will be no halfway exposure. No quiet removal. It will be undeniable. And in that undeniable moment, your testimony will not just be that you survived, it will be that you were elevated because of the very storm sent to destroy you. I can feel the shift even as I write this to you. There is a breaking in the spiritual atmosphere. The pressure that's been sitting on your shoulders is about to lift in a way that you will notice physically. The heaviness will give way to clarity. The confusion will dissolve into sudden understanding. This is the moment when all the scattered pieces of your journey start clicking together, and you finally see the design God has been working on all along. Every closed door, every delay, every betrayal, it will all make sense in light of what is about to happen next. And beloved, please hear me on this. When the verdict is read in your favor, things will move quickly. Opportunities will appear suddenly. Relationships will shift overnight. You must be ready to step into them without hesitation. This is not a season to second-guess the blessings. If God sends them, take them. If He opens the door, walk through it. If He calls you forward, do not look back. The time for wondering and waiting is over. The time for walking in the reality of your answered prayers has arrived. My beloved, I want you to understand why this is not just another message but a divine intervention in motion. You are standing in a moment that has been prepared for years, long before you knew anything about a case being filed, long before you understood the battles you've been fighting. Heaven has been watching the unfolding of this story with precision, and at the exact point where the enemy believed they had secured their victory, God issued a counter-decree. That's why Jesus spoke with such clarity, "Tell them before tomorrow." This is not about giving you information for the sake of curiosity. This is about equipping you so that when the wave of change hits, you are standing in the right position to receive it instead of being swept away by confusion. You have to realize that cases in heaven are not like cases on earth. On earth, the truth can be hidden, evidence can be altered, and decisions can be swayed by influence. But in the courts of heaven, nothing can be hidden from the eyes of God. Every thought, every motive, every unseen action is laid bare. The enemy has no place to twist the facts when the judge himself is truth. And in your situation, the truth has always been on your side. The only reason the enemy has been able to delay your blessing this long is because he's been using deception to make you doubt your right to it. But that tactic is ending tonight. Once you see the truth clearly, you will not question whether you deserve this breakthrough. You will walk into it knowing it is already sealed for you. Michael has been relentless in this assignment. He has not only defended you in the spiritual realm but also intervened in moments you didn't recognize as divine protection. Think about the times when something just didn't work out, and you were disappointed. What you didn't know is that it wasn't failure, it was shielding. Heaven was redirecting you away from traps you couldn't see. This case being filed is not new, it's been whispered and built in the shadows for a while. But now that it's in the open before the throne of God, there is nothing left for the enemy to hide behind. Exposure is the first step toward your victory, and exposure is already happening. The next step is the verdict, and that is where you are about to see God's nature on full display. This verdict will not just cancel the accusations against you, it will release something into your life that you didn't even know was being withheld. It might come as restoration of something you thought was lost forever, or it might come as an entirely new blessing that erases the sting of what you endured. Either way, the result will be unmistakable. This battle will end with you standing taller, stronger, and more radiant than when it began. And your enemies will have to watch as God honors you publicly. Beloved, I need you to understand that the urgency of this word is not because God is panicking. He never panics. It's because heaven operates in perfect timing, and there are certain moments when the door of favor swings wide open for a short window. When that happens, you must walk through without delay. That's why this message found you now, not later. That's why Jesus' words were not, "Tell them soon," but, "Tell them before tomorrow." It's a call to alignment. It's a reminder that your destiny is not just something you wait for, it's something you step into when heaven says, "Now." So tonight, don't let fear or distraction take your attention away from what's unfolding. Watch for the signs. They will be subtle at first, a conversation that feels different, a piece of news that confirms something you've been sensing, a sudden shift in the way someone treats you. These are the ripples of the verdict being released in your favor. And when the larger wave comes, you will already be prepared, because heaven didn't just win this case for you, they prepared you to receive the victory fully. My beloved, there is something sacred about the way God times things. You may have felt in recent days that something was building, that there was a pressure in the unseen that you couldn't quite name. That sensation wasn't your imagination, it was the vibration of heaven's gavel being lifted, ready to fall. For too long, the enemy has played a dangerous game, accusing you, twisting your story, and planting seeds of doubt not just in the minds of others, but in your own heart. He wanted you to live in a fog where you couldn't tell if you were winning or losing, where you questioned if God had really chosen you for anything significant. But heaven never lost sight of you. Even when you couldn't feel Him, God's eyes never left you, and His plans never shifted. The delays you've experienced weren't denials, they were divine positioning. And now, on this 11th of August, the appointed time has arrived for the truth to be revealed. Understand this, when Jesus issues a command, it's not a suggestion to the angels, it's a movement order. And the words He spoke over your situation carried an authority that sent ripples through every spiritual realm. He didn't just say, "Tell them." He said, "Tell them now, before tomorrow." That urgency isn't because He's afraid of the outcome, it's because He knows how important your awareness is for what's about to unfold. A blessing can be in motion, but if you're not positioned to see it, it can pass right by you. This is why the heavens are shaking you awake in this moment, so you will not only witness the verdict but also be ready to step into the life that comes after it. In the courtrooms of heaven, cases are not decided by who argues best, but by truth. And in your case, the truth is radiant, undeniable, and fully in your favor. The evidence the enemy has tried to present is rotting, exposed for what it is, lies without foundation. Michael has been presenting the real story, the one marked by your endurance, your quiet obedience, your prayers that rose in the night when you thought no one was listening. Every tear you've shed has been collected and recorded, not as signs of weakness, but as proof of your faith. And now those very tears are being used as testimony against the enemy's accusations. He wanted to break you. Instead, you stand as living evidence that God's strength is perfected in those who lean on Him completely. Beloved, this verdict is going to do more than clear your name, it's going to open doors you didn't even know were locked. Some of these doors will lead to places you've dreamed of but never had access to, while others will take you into blessings so new you couldn't have imagined them. And it will happen quickly, because when God redeems, He redeems in full. There is no halfway restoration in His kingdom. What was taken will be returned, what was delayed will be accelerated, and what was broken will be rebuilt stronger than before. I know you've grown weary from the waiting, and I know there were moments when you wondered if the promise was still alive. But let me tell you, promises from God do not expire. They may be delayed for reasons we don't always understand, but they are never erased. The case being resolved in your favor is not just about vindication, it's the signal that the time of fulfillment has come. This is why I keep telling you not to miss a single part of this word. Because in the hours ahead, the first signs will begin to appear, and you will recognize them because your spirit is already being tuned to hear heaven's confirmation. And when the shift comes, it will not just be felt by you, it will be noticed by those around you. Some will rejoice with you, genuinely happy for what God is doing. Others will fall silent, unsure how to respond because they know they were among those who doubted you or even spoke against you. But this is not about proving them wrong, it's about proving God right. He said He would be your defender, and now He is showing it openly. This is why you must keep your heart free from bitterness. When the verdict is delivered, your victory will speak for itself. You won't need to defend yourself in human terms. Heaven's stamp of approval will be all the proof you need. My beloved, there is a reason the weight of this word feels so different in your spirit. It's because heaven is not speaking to the crowd right now, it is speaking directly to you. God's voice, through the authority of Jesus and the presence of Archangel Michael, is reaching into the very center of your life to show you that you are not a bystander in this battle, you are the one for whom the battle has been fought. For months, maybe even years, the enemy has been preparing his argument against you, gathering lies, twisting truths, and planting seeds of suspicion in places you never thought could be touched. You've seen the ripples of this in small ways, a relationship that suddenly turned cold, an opportunity that seemed certain but mysteriously vanished, a whisper that reached your ears and made you wonder who had spoken against you. All of these were symptoms of a deeper attack, one you couldn't name until now. And yet, through every moment, God was watching, measuring, and allowing only what would ultimately serve His greater plan for your life. The courts of heaven operate in a way that no earthly court can rival. Here, there is no corruption, no partiality, and no manipulation. The judge is the one who formed the earth and hung the stars, and his judgment is final. When Jesus stands as your advocate, the case is not about whether you might win, it's about how soon the victory will be announced. Michael has been moving tirelessly in the unseen realm, ensuring that every false claim is met with unshakable truth, that every accusation is countered with the reality of your faith and your endurance. The enemy has no foothold left, no credible witness, and no more room to maneuver. This is why there is such urgency right now. The case has reached its turning point, and the gavel is about to come down. Beloved, I need you to know that when the verdict is issued in your favor, it won't just bring a sense of relief, it will release a wave of blessings that have been waiting in storage for the moment you were cleared. There are doors that have been locked not because God was keeping them from you, but because the timing had to be perfect for you to walk through them. Now that timing has come. And when you step into this new chapter, it will feel like years of waiting have been compressed into days of breakthrough. The speed of it will leave you in awe. One blessing will make way for another. One opportunity will lead to something even greater, and the momentum will carry you further than you could have imagined. You must also understand that this victory is not just for you, it is a public demonstration of God's faithfulness. The people who have been watching your life, silently wondering if your faith would hold, will see for themselves that the one you trust never fails. Even those who doubted you will have to acknowledge that something beyond human effort has worked in your favor. This is why you must walk into your blessing with grace, without the need to prove yourself or argue your worth. Let the results speak. Let the visible favor on your life be the evidence that silences every lingering doubt. But I must also warn you, beloved, the enemy does not vanish simply because he has lost a case. He will try to regroup, to find another angle, another weakness to exploit. This is why you must take the strength you gain from this victory and use it to fortify your faith even more. Do not relax into complacency, rise into greater purpose. God is not just clearing your name, He is positioning you for greater assignments, ones that will require the wisdom and resilience you have developed in this season. You are not leaving this battle the same person you were when it began. You are leaving it stronger, sharper, and more dangerous to the kingdom of darkness than ever before. And so, as the hours pass between now and the morning, I urge you to stay spiritually awake. Listen closely to the whispers of the Holy Spirit. Pay attention to the subtle shifts around you. A conversation you overhear, a message you receive, a change in someone's tone, these will be signs that the verdict is being released and the atmosphere around you is shifting. When you sense it, speak gratitude out loud. Thank God for moving in your favor before you even see the full picture. This kind of faith not only honors Him, but it also draws the blessing closer, accelerating the manifestation of what has already been decided in heaven.